Good evening and welcome. Today I want to talk about my experience of applying to MA in a different country that is not yours. So I want to tell my experience of how I got into the MA of Children's Book Illustration in Anglia Ruskin University in Cambridge, that is in Cambridge School of Art. So and when I see this back in the time, I think when I graduated from university in my pre-graduate course, I always thought in mind that I wanted to pursue MA, and I was kind of obsessed with it, and I knew I had to work hard. So I just did a research about universities, and I knew I wanted to go to a destination that it was good in art, and not that is some decisions are bad or anything, but it's just the culture there is very rich, and you're able to go to many places like museums or art exhibitions and that. So at that time I wasn't that sure about what I wanted to sub specialize in, and after graduation I just focused my time on doing artworks for an exhibition, and this exhibition was actually in the same kind of time, I graduated in June, and 6 months later I had this exhibition to just be ready, and it was very stressful because I had to do a lot of installation works. They were the size of the objects were really big, and I didn't expect that they were going to take that much time to do, but I did it also because I thought it was going to be a good chance to improve my portfolio, because at that time I didn't have any clue how to have a proper portfolio to get in. So and meanwhile I also applied for a university in Germany, in Leipzig, and it didn't work out, and I'm glad that it didn't work out, because and also I was studying German for that, so I just needed the A1, the A1 level of German, so I got that, and I just sent my portfolio, but actually it was something related to book arts, because it was Buchkunst, and I thought it was Kunst because it's art in German, and Buch is book, and I thought it was illustration, but actually it was book art. So I wasn't aware of that at that time, and that didn't work, and it was a failure before at that time. But when I knew that it was not possible to go there, so I went to a universities fair. I went to a universities fair of from the UK, and I just grabbed some advertisements, and I discovered that there was a very famous university in the UK, in Scotland specifically, and I felt in love of it, because I'm not sure if it's okay to mention the university, but anyway, and I fell in love because they had a MA program in illustration, and I fell in love with the city because the city where this university is so beautiful. I've been there 2 times in my life, and it's amazing. Okay, so when I went to this stand, I just fell in love with the program. So I just okay, I need to make a website, I need to do a lot of things, and I need to improve my portfolio. I need to do this letter that you have to I asked many people to help me, and it was like everything was ready. I asked the letters to my teachers, and at the time I applied, I had so many expectations, and my family said, okay, you shouldn't just apply for one, just apply for I'll just few more and see what happens. So I applied on time and I received a response later, and it was like devastating because I was rejected, and I didn't want it to, I just didn't know what to do with my life, because it was so frustrating for me, because I didn't receive any clear response, clear answer of why it was wrong with my application letter or like with my portfolio. There was nobody that explained me why I wasn't accepted, so I couldn't learn from my fails or that. And that day I cried so much. I love to cry. No, it's not that I love to cry, but I'm very sensitive. I cry all the time, especially when I have my period. Okay, so and it was like, I didn't have after it was like 2015, like maybe February or March, and I didn't know what to do with my life because I wasn't able to get a job here. Like, it's very difficult to get a job in art, especially in Ecuador, or like it's very difficult in everywhere, but especially here I think it's more difficult because the culture is different and there are not many jobs in this area. Okay, so that happened, and I decided that I wanted to treat myself, and there was going to be this fair in Colombia, in Bogota, which is like fig fair, like illustration fair. I wanted to go, so I collect all my savings, and I was determined to go. But at that time I got a job, a part-time job that I couldn't say no, because my family was a little bit worried that I didn't have any job at that time. So I had to take it, even though a part-time job here is like nothing. At that time it was like maybe less than 100, or maybe more or less like $100, sort of like, it was okay. So I had to take it, but because I took it, I went to the bookstore, and when I went to the bookstore, I love to go just like to check things and just see what is new, what is not, and I just saw this book, El Arte de Ilustrar, Libros, Infantiles, by Martin Salisbury and Morag styles. So I was like, why is this book even here? Like, I didn't have an idea why, because it's so difficult to get many things here in my country, like, and there is not a target here for this kind of books. Like, there are just few people that love illustration here, and I was so surprised that I was like, oh my god, I had to buy it. So I bought it, and this was my savings, and I read it like in 3 or 2 days. I just finished it, all of it, and then I realized that at the end there was a university here, and I just Googled it, and I remember from those advertisements that I went to the fair of the UK, of the universities in the UK, that university was on my advertisement book, and I just make a research, and actually, yeah, it was expensive, but it wasn't that expensive as I thought it was going to be. So I just applied, and so what happened? So then I received a letter, like maybe a couple of months later. I received a letter from this university, and they didn't give me this particular MA, like children's book illustration. They gave me other MA, which was illustration and book arts, because I had this big project about a picture book that it was giant, so they thought my projects were more directed to that, and I was like doubting a lot and a little bit upset because I wasn't sure what this program was about, and what I really wanted to be is in the program of children's book illustration. So I just, I didn't know what to do, and I also at that time received other letter of acceptance from other university of children's book illustration, but it was like this university I wasn't sure about because there was not many information on the internet. And later I decided, okay, I should go, and I asked the person who was like my intermediate if I accept to go to illustration and book arts, will I be able to attend as a listener to the classes of children's book illustration. And she talked to Martin, who was a course leader at the time, and he said yes. So I said, okay, I'll do it. And I prepared myself to go to the UK and study there, and it was like a long way and a lot of falls and ups until I got there the 15th of September of 2015, or 16th of September, yes. And so yeah, I'm very grateful for my experience there. And even though the first day I met a very good friend that he's still there, and I don't know, it was like very magic when I arrived, and until I got my first day of class. Like at the beginning I was on the other course, and I got my first day of class, and then I realized, oh my god, I'm on the other side of the world, and I don't know why I am studying like I am here. I was like, oh my god, my parents are going to kill me, because this is, as soon as I got in my first class, I knew that wasn't the program I wanted to be in. So I talked to my friend who I met the first day there in Cambridge, and he had a lot of experience in the academic field because he was studying a PhD, and other friends who also entered with me at the university, and they said like, no, but you're good, you should try, you should try. And this friend of mine that was like in the same time as I entered, she told me that there was a possibility that you can change programs. So I did that, and I was like asking for an appointment with Martin, which was the course leader. And I almost, when I told him, please, Martin, I wanted to talk to you, I'm sorry to interrupt you, and I really would like to study here. I explained that as soon as I put my first step on the other class, I knew that it wasn't for me, and that I really wanted to do with my life was children's book illustration. And I almost cried because I'm very sensible. So yeah, and he told me, okay, come with your portfolio or what you have, and we'll have an appointment on Friday. So I went there, and he checked what I have, and he said, this is what I like. And I had like, of that thing he liked, I had like a prototype of the giant book I did, and I said, I did this, and he really liked it. And because of that book, he accepted me. And I was so lucky that a friend that was accepted at that moment it was not, we couldn't see if she was accepted or not yet, because she had a problem with her visa in China. So I told him, well, there's a spot, there's a place still available, so maybe can I get in? And he said, yes, you are welcome to come into our program. So yeah, that happened, and I was like very, very happy and very grateful of from that experience. And yeah, so I know it's a long story and maybe not that entertain, but I just wanted to say that, okay, maybe there are a lot of times that we see life like very dark, or like are things that we want, they are not approaching, or we're not getting any answer soon, or is not taking us where we want to go. But if you fight enough, if you pursue, if you're curious, if you ask, if you just fight for it, if you just go for it and put your effort and put your heart, you can make it. And for me, that experience meant that I could make it. And it was so, when I see back, I like, when I was devastated of not going to Germany, or not going to this university in Scotland, or like, I just like, I see it's my destiny, and I create my destiny, and I create my way into the place I want it to be. And I think it's going to be the same for me to get a work published. So it's just a matter of effort and fighting, and just faith, and just be positive, because there's nothing to win if you're just thinking in a negative way. So yeah, just I hope this serve you to encourage you, or like if you're thinking this is too difficult, or this is too, you just made it happen. I remember that I locked myself in this space. I locked myself to study for the TOEFL exam, because yeah, like, my English is okay, it's not that great. And I just bought a book, like there's no even books from TOEFL or IELTS here in Ecuador. I had to go to the distributor that takes these kind of books to the schools, or to and see if they have like some like rest of books that they have left or of that. And I got books for the TOEFL and books for the IELTS. I give the TOEFL 2 times, because I had at the end I had the score I needed, but I think in the speaking part wasn't good, or wasn't enough. But in the average, I had the score I needed. Also in the IELTS happened something similar like this. So I had to give these exams 2 times each. So in 1 year, I did 4 exams, and I just locked myself here, and I studied English. And that's the way I like, you just have to do something, and just have to fight for it, and just make the way to get it. And yeah, so if you want to be an artist, if you want to be an illustrator, if you want to be, I don't know, a very good student, or just to be accepted in an art university, you just do your way, and just don't be shy, and talk to the people that is just on the top. Don't expect that to talk with the people that is just like an intermediate, because I think what it happened to me is just because I didn't talk to the top person. My process was a little bit slowly than the other ones, and it's important that you show that you want something, and your teacher or whatever person that needs to say yes, he will see that, or she will see that. And if you can show that you have a lot of determination and strength, you're just going to make it. So, okay, so this is my story. I hope it's not that boring. Okay, so I think I cannot upload many videos now, but I'm going to try because Bologna is coming and I'm going there soon. So just subscribe if you want to get more like notifications, because I cannot have a schedule yet for the videos, and I'm trying to do my best here, but it's difficult because of life balancing and everything. So okay, yeah, I decided to say this because I had a terrible day today, and I just wanted to remember a time in my life that I made something possible, and that everything like just went to the right direction. So yeah, I just want to remember this myself for my future me, and just keep having faith, and that, yeah. So okay, so see you next time, and have a lovely day or night wherever you are.